All right, last class. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Last class, we reviewed transformations. So this question is a warm-up from last class. So not even looking at the answer choices. Not even looking at the answer choices. Which transformation does not preserve congruence? Dilation. Now, knowing that in your head, which of these answer choices represent dilation? C, absolutely. And how do you know that so quickly? You just do? Yeah. Okay. So that's awesome. Because dilation is the only one that multiplies to a number. So 2x, 2y is in the same format as kx, ky. And this 2, would that represent an enlargement or reduction? Is it getting bigger or smaller? Enlargement. So since that k value is greater than 1, this tells me my figure got bigger by a scale factor of 2. So I got twice as big. Does anyone know what A represents?
I know what it is, but I forgot the name. That's the one that goes over the x-axis.
So this is a reflection. Yeah, reflection across the y-axis.
Oh, I was thinking about the one that wrote.
Okay. What's B represent? Translation, And what is the x plus 5 telling me? Which direction is x plus 5 telling me? Yeah, so it's telling me it's going to the right, 5. What is y minus 8 telling me? Down 8, okay? And then this is a rotation, and this is 90 degrees counterclockwise. So all of this, we have to know. We have to know, okay? I've already seen the test, and I already know, okay? So we need to make sure we know what these transformations are. There's at least probably 5 questions on transformations alone. Okay, so we're going to do a quick 10-minute, 15-minute review, and then we'll get to today's assignment. So volume, let's review volume. So what I need you to have out is I need you to have out either your notes and your Desmos for a calculator, okay? Because I'm not doing all the problems for you. You need to know how to do them yourself. So for volume, the 3 equations are, even if you don't know them by heart, they're on your formula chart. Quick question. On the test, do y'all know where the formula chart is? Like where to look at on the Kurzweil app? In the beginning, yeah, it's in the beginning. And also there's like a button at the top, like a purple button. It's like a textbook or help button. You can click that and it'll pull up the formula chart as well. So for a cylinder, the formula is V equals capital B times H. For a sphere, it's volume equals 4/3. Hey, girl. Pi r cubed. No, I don't want it. For a cone, it's volume equals 1/3 capital B times H. So those are the 3, hi, good morning. The 3 formulas for a cylinder, sphere, and a cone. So let's talk about what each formula means and how to find each one. I guess let me write in some random numbers here. So if you don't have good notes on this, then I would just go ahead and quickly write some good notes, okay? But if you have good notes, then you're probably good. Okay, let's start with the cylinder. Volume equals capital B times H. What does capital B mean? Area of the base. Area of the base. Capital B stands for the area of the base. What shape is my base on a cylinder? A circle. So capital B is the area of a circle. Anyone remember how to find the area of a circle? Pi radius squared. Pi radius squared. Instead of writing capital B, we're going to write pi radius squared. Capital B turns into pi radius squared because capital B stands for the area of the base. I don't know how many people get this wrong because they look at the numbers 5 and 10 and just say, oh, it's 5 times 10, so 50. No. Volume equals the area of the base times the height. So volume equals pi. Well, what is the radius? 5. So the radius of my base, so if I was to draw this circle out, the radius is 5. So pi times 5 squared. And what's the height of my cylinder? 10 centimeters. So then this is what I'm putting into the calculator. Pi 5 squared times 10. Go ahead and put that in your calculator. You need to practice makes perfect. And so for all my photo math people, you need to know how to do this without photo math, because if you did it now, when you do take the STAR test, you will not, I think you have to take it in person. I don't think there's an option for virtual. So if you've kind of been photo mathing your way through, I probably wouldn't try to do that anymore. Yes, ma'am. I think it's May 18th. May 18th, yeah. So if you're waiting on someone else to say the answer, please don't. Please go look up the answer yourself on Desmos. You know, I actually don't know because I haven't done it yet. Let's see. Yes, it is. So the volume of the cylinder is 785 point, we'll round to the nearest tenth today, 0.4. Okay. For a sphere, the formula is volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. So the only thing you need here is the radius. Well, what does this 12 represent? The diameter. So how do I find the radius? Can chop that in half, divide that by 2. So what's the radius of the sphere? 6. So radius equals 6. So volume equals 4/3 pi times 6 cubed. So go ahead and put that in Desmos. Again, if you're just chilling and not doing it, that'll be on you, my loves. That will be on you. Yeah, I don't know. I ain't done it yet. Let's see. Sounds about right. That sounds absolutely beautiful. Good job. And if you don't know how to put into Desmos, speak up so I can show you how to put it into Desmos. But if you're in Desmos, you're doing 4 divided by 3. I would put that in parentheses, pi, and then in parentheses 6. And then there's a x to the power of b button. You press that to make it to the power of 3, and you type 3. All right, so what was it? 900. 0.8. Okay, perfect. Let me put my units. Centimeters cubed. All right, and then for a cone, the formula is volume equals 1/3 capital B times H. What does capital B mean? The area of the base. So what shape is the base on a cone? It's a circle. Sorry, they didn't have a cone in PowerPoint. So. So capital B stands for the area of the base. My base is a circle, and the area of a circle is pi radius squared. So instead of putting capital B, I'm going to put pi r squared. So this would be volume equals 1/3 pi radius squared times height. I guess I'll write it down here. So volume equals 1/3 times pi. What's the radius?
3.
3. Yep, absolutely. Okay, so yeah, this is halfway. And again, it's just because it's not an actual cone, and so you can't see that this was on the circular part. But 3 is halfway across the base of the cone. So pi r squared times the height. What's the height? 8. So go ahead and put that into decimals. Yes, good job. So when you put into decimals, you should get 75, and we'll round to nearest 10th place, so 75.4 centimeters cubed. So we're doing this very fast because you should already know how to do this, right? This is review. This isn't me teaching it to you, okay? However, if you don't know how to do these things, then you need to go back and look at the notes, okay? Or this is recorded, so you can go back, slow it down, and listen to it. All right, surface area. I'm gonna quickly go over surface area because I want enough time for us to do a lot of practice today. So for a rectangular prism, for lateral surface area, remember lateral surface area is the area of all the sides, not including the bases. The formula is S equals PH. For total surface area, the formula is S equals PH plus 2B. Does anybody remember what capital P stands for? Perimeter of the base. Beautiful. Let me go ahead and write numbers in here. So let's say this is 10, let's say this is 4, and this is 6. We'll just keep with centimeters. So capital P, just like everyone said in here, capital P stands for the perimeter of the base. So like I told you earlier on when we learned this 9 weeks, I would always draw out your base on the rectangular prism as the bottom. So my base is a 10x4 rectangle. And how would I find the perimeter of that? Perfect, I would add up all the sides. So 10 plus 10 plus 4 plus 4, yep, so that's 28. So there's the perimeter of my base. What does H stand for? Height, yep, so H stands for the height from base to base. Height from base to base. So what is the height of this rectangular prism? 6, yep, so from base to base, from bottom to top here, the height is 6. Yes. Like if you use 6 and 4 as the base? Did you do that? I would for rectangular prisms. I don't think it will change your answer, but for the purpose of yes, it will matter because like let's say it was talking about like a building or something like that, then the floor of the building would have to be the base, especially if it's talking about lateral surface area, then it will matter. So for rectangular prism, always treat the bottom of the rectangular prism as the base. Yeah.
Miss Patterson, I have a question.
Yes.
What does Z stand for?
That's a 2.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
I was
I'll write
confused.
Let me write a 2 better. That looks as ugly, but it looks like a 2 now. All right, so thank you. What is capital? Excuse me. What does capital B stand for? Area of the base. So capital B is the area of the base. How do I find the area of a rectangle? Yeah, 10 times 4. So length times width. So 10 times 4 will give me 40. So we have, once you find your P, your H, and your capital B, all that is now is plugging it into your formula. So for the sake of time, which I don't even know what time it is. Yeah, okay, so for the sake of time, I'm just gonna show you what it looks like, but we're not gonna actually do it out. So S equals, it'll be 28 times 6 for lateral surface area, and for total, S equals 28 times 6 plus 2 times 40. If you need to take a screenshot, whatever you need to do, okay? But again, I'm going fast so that we can get to the activity so you can practice. Again, this is not me, this should not be me teaching. This should just be like review. And it should be like, oh, okay, I remember. All right, cylinder. This one is not difficult. It's just knowing to look at your formula chart for lateral surface area. It's S equals 2 pi RH. For total surface area, it's S equals 2 pi RH plus 2 pi R squared. Okay, so there's really no solving or something to do with this. It's just making sure you know the radius and the height, okay? So the radius is always the half of the base, and the height is from base to base. So from circle to circle. So I'm not gonna do this one out because this one is literally just putting it in the formula, putting the radius in, putting the height in. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this or write this down if you don't have notes of surface area per cylinder. All right. And then we have a surface area of a triangular prism. This is the one I think that most people were like, ugh, triangular prisms. Okay, so I'm just gonna write some numbers first. Let me see. Okay. So for lateral surface area, it's the same formula as the rectangular prism. So S equals PH. For total surface area, it's S equals PH plus 2B. Now, if there's any part of this that you're like, I don't understand, Ms. Patterson, then I need you to speak up, because especially on this one's a little bit more difficult. So on a triangular prism, what is the base? The triangle. It's a triangular prism, so the triangle is the base. So even though it's not sitting on its base, we know that the triangle is the base. So I always say, and I hope y'all know on the actual Kurzweil test, you can actually write on the screen. You can actually press like the pen feature and write on the screen, highlight on it, all that. If you have the money, I would go buy a stylus, or if you have an Apple Pen already or some kind of something to write on your screen, I would use that. All right, so I'm gonna draw out the base on the side. I don't want this, I want the pen. So my triangle has a base of 8. The side length
plug this in.
The sides of the triangle are 5 and 5, and the height of the triangle is 6. Do we feel like we remember triangular prism, or it would be good to go over it real quick? Okay. So let's start with the capital P. What does capital P stand for? Perimeter of the base. So how do I find the perimeter of this triangle? Add up all the sides. So what am I adding up? Perfect. So 5 plus 5 plus 8, which is 18. Cool. Any questions about the perimeter of the base? All right, H stands for the height from base to base. Pause. Always think about this before you're like, oh, 6 or just 10 or whatever. What is the height from base to base, from triangle to triangle? 10, yes. So from base, from triangle to triangle, the height of this prism is 10. And then the last feature is the capital B, and the capital B stands for what again? Area of the base. So I'm only looking at the base that I drew out. I'm only looking at this. I'm not looking at anything else. I'm looking at my formula chart. The area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. 1/2, what's the base of my triangle? 8. And what's the height of my triangle? 6. So this is 1/2 8 times 6, which is 24. Okay. And then I'm just plugging all of these in, into my formula to solve for my lateral or total surface area. Okay, take a screenshot if you need it. For the sake of time, that's the only reason I'm not doing these all the way out. Okay, last thing that we're reviewing is Pythagorean Theorem. This is one of my favorite, and I hope everyone feels like they remember how to do it. Okay, so a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Again, this is on your formula chart. What does a and b represent? The two legs. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So my legs are the a and the b. Doesn't matter which one you put, a or b. And then what does that c represent? The hypotenuse. Beautiful, the hypotenuse. A good thing to remember is the hypotenuse is always right across from the 90-degree angle, and it's also the longest side. The longest side. Okay, so let's say I was looking for my leg. So let's say that this was 6. We don't know this side, and this side was 10. First thing I'm going to do is label my sides. So let's say 6 is A, the missing side is B, and the hypotenuse is C. You can just try to follow along with me, or if you need to write it down, that is fine. Either way, make sure you know how to do these problems. So first thing I do is write down my Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. My A is 6, so 6 squared. I don't know my b, so plus b squared equals c, which I said is 10 squared. 6 squared is 36, and 10 squared is 100. I want to solve for b, so what would I do with this 36? Perfect, subtract it. Perfect, perfect. So that would give me b squared equals 64. Is that my answer? I got to square root it. Yeah, square root it, because that's b squared equals 64. So b would equal 8. That's me using a calculator, but I'm using my brain calculator. Okay. And then let's say I'm missing What am I missing now? The hypotenuse, because that's right around for the 90-degree angle. So I'm gonna label my sides. I'm gonna say A is 4, B is 3, and I don't know my C. So writing out the Pythagorean theorem, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is 4, so 4 squared plus B, which is 3, 3 squared. C, I do not know. 4 squared is 16, 3 squared is 9, equals C squared. What do I do with these two numbers? Add them together, so 16 plus 9 is 25, equals C squared. Is that my answer? Oh, I gotta square root it, okay. So 5 equals C. Okay, we just did a review of something that took us 2 months to learn, okay? So, if you feel confident with volume, surface area, Pythagorean theorem, you should be A-okay on the test next week. If you don't feel confident, go look up some videos on YouTube, go practice, whatever you need to do, because this will be the mainly tested items on the exam, along with slope, line intercept, and transformations.